Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2. We're excited to welcome you to our bonus episode, The Friday Fix. We are your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earl, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. And together, we are In Business. Every Friday we discuss a business-related subject with either one of our wonderful In Business networking members or a fellow business owner who'll be sharing their advice, thoughts or knowledge on a particular topic. And we normally ask our guests to share one of their favourite networking tips. But this week we have our very own Ian Earl talking all about networking. The episode is called Ignore What Your Mother Told You and Talk to Strangers. So welcome, Ian.
Thank you, Tracy.
So, as I said, this week we have our very own Ian Earl with us, talking all things networking. Tell me a little bit about that title, about not talking to strangers.
Well, if you think about it, Tracy, when you're little, what happens? All the time you're constantly told by your parents, whatever you do, don't talk to strangers. Now, I think that that hangs around with people into adulthood, because as soon as people start networking, everybody suddenly becomes afraid of talking to strangers, especially if you put the word networking in front of anything. I mean, let's face it, we've all used to having conversations. We've had conversations all our lives, but suddenly when someone mentions the word networking, everyone freezes, and there's no point. It's pointless.
It's a common worry, isn't it? It's a common.
It is.
Fear.
It is. It's one of the most common fears you'll find. People are just totally afraid of it, and there's no reason at all. It's a conversation. If you look at it as just have a really nice conversation, that's the easiest thing you can do.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about how we can get over this fear that we have of networking.
What I find, what I'm about to say, some of the things I'm going to tell you today, I sort of teach in my networking know-how course that I run. One of the main things I'll stress before you ever start networking is it's important before you attend an event to have a goal or an objective, to set an intention, if you like. What do I mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? I'll tell you, Tracy, what I mean by that. I'll tell you, it's important that you think about why you're going network. So why are you networking? That's one of the main things to think about. So why are you going networking? Is it to meet new clients? Is it to make new connections? Is it to meet new referral partners? Is it to meet new suppliers? Or is it just to meet and have a chat with someone perhaps who's in a similar industry to yourself that you want to connect with, swap ideas and learn new things, etc. So you've got to have an intention. Think, why are you going there? What is the reason for you there going networking in the first place? Okay.
And once you've decided that, what would be the next steps?
Well, having an intention helps you to focus on having a good conversation, which is what it's all about. You want good conversation, good quality conversation. Now, if you like, it's like having a plan. If you've got an intention, you almost have a plan ready before you attend. Now, the next thing you've got to think about is your approach. I found that often when people think about approaching a network event, they start thinking about the first line that they're going to say when they meet someone, which of course is important, and it's important you know what you're going to say, but that's not actually, it's not just the first line that's important, it's how you approach. If you think about it, people start to formulate an opinion of you when they first see you. So as you start to approach someone, people already formulate an opinion about you, whether you like it or not. We all do it. So you've got to think about having an open body language. You've got to think about walking tall almost. No hands in the pockets, no slouching, none of that stuff. No crunching up your shoulders, nothing. Don't be
looking timid.
Exactly,
shy.
Looking timid. Be open. Look like you're open for a conversation. Have a positive walk and everything else. Do you know what the most important thing is about your approach?
I can probably have a guess, but would you like to tell us?
Have a guess.
Smile.
Wrong. No, you're right. Actually, yes, it's dead right. It is smile. That's one of the main things you got to do. As you approach someone, smile. That way they know you're getting ready to have a conversation with them and getting ready to engage. So it's important. Nice body language and a nice open smile as you approach. And one of the easiest things to say, never mind anything too fancy, I would suggest you just say something like, hello, how are you? my name is Ian, my name is Tracy. Obviously only call yourself Ian or Tracy if that's your name.
Okay. Is there any other things we should be thinking about when we're trying to engage somebody in a conversation?
Yeah, I would say the next thing is to think about the non-verbal cues, if you like,
Okay.
the body language. So you are looking to create engagement and to have an interesting quality conversation. And the best way to do this is to watch out for the clues that people give you through their body language and when they're engaged on a particular subject or topic. And you can spot this quite easily. One of my favourites is the eyebrow raise. When you're in a conversation, what you're looking for is the little clues that people are interested or engaged or passionate about something. And one of the ways to do that is watch the movement of their eyebrows. When you're talking around any stories or anything or topics, if you see the eyebrow raise, suddenly you know that that's interesting. Not only might they raise their eyebrows, they might say, "Oh, really?" And you know then that's the path you should be following. That's what you should be talking about. Go down that path, dig deeper, because you know that's their interest. So you're looking out for anything to do with stories, conversations, anything like that that's piqued their interest or particular topics. In essence, all you're looking for, the more you talk, and then the more you can spot these. You're looking for mutual likes. And once you get that, and like I say, you notice the eyebrow raise, you're on the money and you can follow that path. As I've said, it's just a matter of keeping that conversation going. So you're looking for the "oh really" and the eyebrow raise. So at some point during the conversation that will happen. When that does happen, hopefully it will happen, when that does happen, you've piqued their interest and you know that's something you can have a chat or a good discussion about.
Okay.
You should have said "oh really" then, Tracy, and raise your eyebrows.
Oh really?
That's it, well done. That's how it works. Right. A lot of the times, and I teach this in my networking course. I get asked this a lot. How do you? It's all right being in a conversation, but how do you end a conversation? Well, you've got to think about ending a conversation. One of my favourite sayings is, "Remember, the last impression leaves the longest impression."
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a good one,
Profound.
isn't it? Yeah, very profound. And what that means is try not to end a conversation, any conversation, on any sort of bad note or anything like that. Always try and be polite and end it in a good way. Like I said, I go through this quite a lot of detail on my networking know-how course, but what you've got to think about is there's a couple of things you can do depending on what the situation is. First of all, I like to tell people that you have a couple of exit statements ready, things that you can fall back on. Things like, "it was great talking to you, and if I don't run into you later, I hope to see you at another event soon." See, nice way to end. Or, "I don't want to take up all your time. It was great chatting to you." Or you could try throwing in a future remark. This is a good one. For example, "Hey, what are you doing later today or this weekend?" Now, what this does, it shifts people's focus from the present to the future. So they might say something like, "Oh yes, I'm going to the coast this weekend," or whatever. And then all you have to do then is simply just follow up with, "Well, it was really nice meeting you today. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a brilliant time at the coast." Now, that's a really nice, polite and gentle way of ending a conversation. And remember, the last impression leaves the longest impression. And that's what you want to do. Leave a really good impression.
So thanks, Ian, for that. That's
You're welcome, Tracy.
some really good advice there to prepare people for a networking meeting. But just because we always ask our visitors on the Friday Fix for one of their favourite networking tips, have you got one more little nugget of information that you can share with people?
Put me on the spot here. I wasn't expecting this one. Let's have a think. Yeah, this is really important, is that to be interesting, you have to be interested. So to be interesting, you have to be interested. It's a good saying.
Mm-hmm. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, basically all it means is you should perhaps spend more time finding out about people. So when you're having a conversation, the trick is to find out as much about them as possible. So basically, ask lots of questions. They're doing all the talking. You're doing all the listening. So remember To be interesting, be interested. And people will remember you for that. It's surprising how much people will remember if you show a genuine interest in people. That's all you have to do. Be interested. They'll walk away saying, wow, what a great guy, what a great conversation I've just had. And basically, all you're getting them to do is keep talking. It's easy. And it's really fun as well, because you're actually finding out the person and finding out about a person as well. So it's really interesting. And I like people. So it's interesting.
Good. Okay. So if anyone does want to practice their networking skills, would you suggest that they came to In Business? And if so, how do they find out about In Business?
Oh, another good question. I definitely recommend that they come to In Business, because that's a smashing group. All they have to do is simply go onto our website and book on it. It'd be lovely to see you, and you get to meet some really interesting people as well. It's a really smashing group. Very supportive, very collaborative, lovely people. And we would say that, of course, because together, Tracy,
we are in business. We'll put the link in the show notes if you're interested in coming along. It will be lovely to see you.
Can we also put a link in about my networking know-how course as well?
Yes, you can.
And we'll stick that in as well. So if people are interested and want to find out more about networking, I do a networking know-how course as well. So you'd be more than welcome to sign up for that.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Ian. Take care.
Pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
We're almost at the end of this week's show, but before we go, we're really excited to tell you about our In Business Talks To episode this coming Tuesday. Our special guests on next week's podcast are Jill and Andy of Andy Hanselman Consultants. We're really looking forward to speaking to them and digging deeper into their experiences as a business couple.
Thanks so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2 Friday Fix. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. We'd really appreciate it. So until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together
we are in business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.